Hello, welcome to our virtual programming horseback riding lesson. Today we are on Mr. Dreamer. This is our programming for the week of July 27th, and today, as promised, we are going to be going over 2-point at the trot. So before we even dive in, if you need to review how to steer, what you should be doing at the walk, what you should be doing at the posting trot, what you should be doing in 2-point, I'd recommend that you stop this video, review those things, and then come back, because today we're going to push through a lot of concepts with what we learned last week and our diagonals at the trot and putting them all together. So today you can see that the arena is pretty much the same as it was last week. So I've kept all the color coordinated cones. I have moved the poles. The poles are going to help us with straightness, but here at CTR we typically do not trot over the poles during lessons. So to keep that realism going, they have been rotated out of the way to help with straightness. So our brief review of 2-point is that we should be going straight over any poles in the middle of those poles. So we will be going straight between the cones in the middle of the cones. We go into 2-point right before the pole or the jump, and then we land when our horse's front feet have completed clearing that pole or jump. Now for our diagonals, our quick review is that we should be matching the shoulder near the wall. So we rise and fall on the side near the wall. Anytime the shoulder is going forward, we are standing, and as it is going back, we are sitting. So right now we're on the left rein. So to match the inside hind leg in our diagonal at the trot, we'd be standing, sitting, standing, sitting, standing, sitting. That switches every time we change direction. So as we complete the figure 8 for our 2-point and posting today, we are going to switch our diagonal anytime we are going over either the yellow or the blue imaginary jump pole. Whenever we're going over those, we are crossing the center line. Anytime we're cutting the center line to change direction, we need to change diagonals. And anytime we are cutting through the letter X to change directions, we should be changing our diagonals. So that's our quick review of all of those concepts before we begin doing it at the trot. So the timing of changing our diagonals is going to be associated with the cones, and when we land after the jump or land after going over our imaginary poles, that's when we are changing reins, because we are preparing our approach for the next jump or pole. Your approach is the most key important part of jumping or trotting over poles. If you are too slow, your horse is going to have to push really, really hard to get over it, and you're going to have to use more muscle to stay balanced. If you're going too fast, your horse might run into it and be sloppy because they're not thinking about what their feet are doing. If you're crooked, you could knock it over with your horse's hooves. If you are off to the side, you could knock over the standards, which would then knock over the entire jump, which would be rather dangerous. So we do not want that to happen. So our approach is very important. We want straight, we want good energy, but controlled energy. We want to be balanced with our horse as we do all these things. So there's a lot to think about, which is why if you need to review any of these concepts, I recommend that you go back and watch some of those videos. But for starters, get your seat going at the walk. You should be having good equitation. So your elbow to your hand down your reins that are nice and straight with contact to your horse's nose. And then head, shoulder, hip, heel with your toes not holding your pressure. So you should be able to lift your toes off the floor. They shouldn't be bracing as you do this activity. So if you are standing, you'll get ready to do 2-point by pushing your hips back. And if you're seated, you'll get ready to do 2-point by using your arms to push your hips up off of your chair. So we're going to start by just asking Dreamer for a trot. So we're going to get our reins tight, we're going to squeeze with our legs. we're gonna make sure we're on the correct diagonal. So right now we should be matching the right shoulder as it goes forward and back, because that is the opposite pair for the inside hind leg that we're balancing with. Bless you. So we're going up, down, stand, sit, stand, sit, stand, sit, stand, sit, stand, sit, stand, sit. Bless you. Oh, dreamer. We've got lots of sneezes today. Now, if I were to cut the diagonal, we're not going to do 2-point yet, but I'm going to sit twice between the yellow cones. So down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, right back to posting. That's going to be the same thing in 2-point, except you might need to check your diagonal after you complete 2-point. So now we're matching the left shoulder. As it moves forward, we're moving our hips up and forward, because we want to match our horse's inside hind leg as we make turns. So we're gonna practice again. When I reach the letter M, I'm gonna open my shoulder and look across the arena over to K. I'm gonna sit twice. Now I'm matching the shoulder that we started on, the outside right shoulder. All right, so we're gonna ask him to walk real quick. So you're gonna put your shoulders back, weight in your heels, sit, sit, sit. Good. Dreamer's got some energy today. Woo! You're actually getting to practice that 152 beats per minute, although he did fall, what we call fall, right out of the trot into a very lazy walk, which we typically do not want our horses to do. They should not have their transition be jolting. It should be smooth. They should use their muscles to make that transition happen. So we're gonna practice completing the figure 8 in both directions. We'll start up by the letter A both times. We'll give you a little walking break in between, but you should still keep your hips moving. So it'll be less work than posting, but you're still gonna keep your muscles moving so that you don't end up with a cramp. All right, you ready, Dreamer? So we're matching the outside shoulder as I go between these cones, which he is not straight. I do 2-point and 2-point again. I make sure I'm still matching the outside shoulder. I'm gonna do 2-point and then make sure I'm matching the left shoulder now. So I'm going all the way to the window before I turn so that I'm straight over these poles. 2-point and 2-point. Am I matching the left shoulder? I'm aiming for the middle of these blue cones going straight. 2-point. And I should make sure that I'm now matching the right shoulder because I am on the left rein. So that was Dreamer. Why are you so crooked? See how his nose is pointing all the way over there? He's very crooked. So that was a lot all at once. So we're going to try it again. We're going to do it in the opposite direction. So I'm going to change direction around that yellow cone over there. But that was a lot all at once. So we're going to do it again the other way. And then if you need to re-watch it, feel free. This time I'm going to try and keep my head down a little more so that you can see his shoulders. But I also want you to be thinking about going straight, being in the middle, especially since Dreamer's being a little wiggly today. But I'm going to try and keep my head down more. Okay, so posting trot. I want to match the outside shoulder. I want to be over the middle. 2-point. Still want to match the outside. 2-point. Turning towards the blue. Over these, I will change my diagonal. As I did 2-point, I held it for an extra second. I'm swinging wide, so I'm going straight over the orange. 2-point and 2-point, keep going straight. We're still matching the right shoulder. Once we go over the yellow, then we will switch to the left. Not yet. And 2-point, make sure you're matching the left. All right, and we will walk. So this was a tricky, a bit more advanced week. We'll take it a little bit easier next time. You will find out the lesson plan, but hopefully you're able to review this and start putting all these concepts that we're learning together for a big picture of what makes horseback riding a little more exciting. Alrighty, you will move on now to the next portion of the virtual lessons.